Welcome to Google SketchUp. This is a free, no charge at all, no money out of your pocket. It's a free 3D modeling program. It enables you to make shapes, you can design buildings, cities. It's just amazing. Well, the first thing you have to know about it is when you launch it, this little screen will come up, or one varying advertisement come up. And the first button you want to do is click on Start Using SketchUp right there. And that will open it up. And you get a little field here and a little avatar, a little man. He's important. Don't get rid of him yet. Okay? Now the toolbar up here, there's a load of toolbars. I'm not going to go through them all right now. I'm just going to go through the basics here just to get you started. And the first one I'm going to start with is the rectangle tool. See that? Rectangle. I'm going to click on that. And when I bring my little pencil down and it's got a rectangle or a box under it, that means it's active. Now I'm going to go down here on this green surface and I'm going to click my mouse and just spread out, and I'm going to draw a square or a rectangle around this little guy, and there we have a gray surface. Now that's a surface we can use to do things with. The green ground and the blue sky are not really surfaces you can do anything with. You can put things in them, but you can't change their shapes. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to raise this surface up, and it's going to look like I'm encasing this little guy in concrete, but don't worry, he's going to be safe. Now the next tool, we use the rectangle tool there. Next tool is the push-pull tool. I'm going to click on that. Yep, that's what it looks like. That's good, it's active. If it doesn't look like the picture that you just clicked on, click it again because it means you have not activated it yet. Now I'm going to go down to the surface here. See how it turns into dotted lines? Yeah, I'm going to click my mouse button, hold my mouse button down, and I'm going to push my mouse up on the tabletop here to raise it up, and I'm just going to stop it right there. Now, this is a 3D modeling project, and the way I can prove that to you is to go over here to the next tool, the orbit tool. Kind of changes the camera angle. So I'm going to click on orbit. Okay, it's active. I'm going to click on the screen. I'm just going to hold my mouse button down and move my mouse around. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's cool. Well, now let's see what happened to our little 2D avatar in there. He's an avatar, and I want to make sure he's safe. So I'm going to draw a little circle. Use the circle tool, and we'll draw a little circular window here on the side, on this face. And I'm going to click my mouse, put it in the middle here, pretty much. Click my mouse, and now while I'm holding the mouse button down, I'm going to spread my mouse out. There we go. And I've made a circle. Now I'm going to get rid of this, make an opening. And to do that I use my select tool, the little arrows, the select tool. And I'm going to click on the inside of the circle. Now it's active. It's ready to have something done to it. It's kind of like selecting text in PowerPoint or Word. You have to tell the computer what you want it to do next because it cannot read our minds. Computers cannot read our minds. Not yet anyway. Okay, now I want to make a hole here, so I'm going to use my delete key on my keyboard. Now in the Microsoft products, we can use backspace or delete to get rid of most things. Backspace will not work on this. You have to use the delete key, and it's got to be dotted lines like that. It means it's active. Now hit delete, and there we go. Let me move it around. You can see our little guy is safe and sound. You can see the ground, the floor behind him, the ceiling above. That's why that avatar, keeping him there is important, because if you're building a building and you're not doing exact measurements, you need to know it's close to the actual size it might be. That might be the height of a first floor of a building. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this around a little bit. And I'm going to use my next tool. It's the pan tool right next to the orbit tool, which doesn't change the camera, but it will move things over like this. Now I'm going to have to use my orbit tool again. It's active. Turn this around a little bit. And now what I want to do is make the whole thing smaller. Now I can use this to shrink things down, zoom it. But really, if you have a wheel, if you have a scroll wheel on your mouse, just pull the wheel down and things will get smaller. Use my pan tool again. Pull this down here. And now I'm going to make a little roof on this and pretend it's a house. Now how do I do that? Let's see here. Well, I have to go to the line tool. There's our next tool, line. And I'm going to go up on this edge, and it can say on edge. On edge will not work for what I want to do. It has to say midpoint. That's what I want it to say, midpoint. And then I click and hold the mouse button down. And I've got that green line down there. That means it's on the correct axis. And I'm going to keep going. It says midpoint on the other side. That's exactly what I want. I want to go midpoint to midpoint when I make that line. And now I'm going to use the Move tool right here. And when I click on this center line, it was midpoint to midpoint, hold my mouse button down and push my mouse button up, look what happens. Yeah, I've got a roof there. It's kind of starting to look like a house. Let's take the orbit tool back here, activate it, turn it around, and you can see we got the beginnings of a house here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, there are other things you can do with this. There are many different shapes, but that will just get you started. Not that you would have this on a house, but let me show you some of the things you can do here. I'm going to go to the end here, and I'm going to draw a little rectangle. Just a little rectangle like that. Now, I'm going to select that with my push-pull tool again. See the little push-pull tool? Yeah, I've got the right one. Now, that's not what I want. That's the side of the house. I want to get inside what I just made. There we go. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to pull my mouse down a little bit. You can see what's happening there? I'm going to click my orbit tool, move it around. I've got a little side patio there. It needs some legs, but that'll come in later lessons. Let's see here. Can I do something else? Well, I could put a chimney on, but that's kind of involved. Let me move this thing over just a hair for you. And I'll show you what else we can. Let's do a cylinder. I'm going to draw a circle on the, yeah, see that is on the ground now, or what used to be the ground, what would be the ground if we had something there. And now I'm going to take my push-pull tool, and I'm just going to pull it up, and now I've got a cylinder there. This is just the beginning. Let's review the tools. We use the select tool. We use the line tool. Okay, that was to get that midpoint to midpoint line we wanted. We use the rectangle tool. That was to draw the rectangle on the ground, which we then use the push-pull tool to click and pull it up. We use the move tool once we had selected the midpoint to midpoint line, and we pulled up the roof over here. And then we use the rectangle tool again on the side of the house and pulled out this side. I can even do it from here, I think. There it goes a little farther. I can push it in. Just remember, we build things in a virtual 3D world, so we don't spend a lot of time and money on things that won't work in the real world. We want to find our mistakes when we're here, rather than we've spent millions of dollars trying to build a bridge or a tall building. Okay? That's it. That's your first lesson on Google SketchUp. Hope that was helpful.